Hey guys, this is Erik, owner of Farpoint Farms, and today I'm going to do a review, and then part two I'm going to do a demonstrational video of what is probably one of the most used items on my little farm that I have. I've got 6 acres that I farm up here in North Carolina mountains, and this is what's called a front end tractor scoop. Now I've just hooked it up to my new purchase here, which is like a 94 I think it is model Craftsman GT. But the neat thing about this is that it can fit on a riding mower, an LT, a YT, or a GT. You don't have to have a genuine garden tractor to use this, although it does help. It's a tractor scoop, very similar to like a front end loader with some limitations. This one came from Husqvarna, but you can also get it directly from Craftsman, and you can also get it from Agrifab, which I think is the manufacturer of all 3 of these. So I know Craftsman are having some issues and may not make it through the rest of 2017, so don't be afraid to purchase one on closeout, because the parts are the same in between all 3 models, so if you ever need to replace anything, it should be the same. Anyway, on to the review. It kind of looks like a monstrosity. It has some pretty large levers here and here. The bucket is a nice stout heavy piece of steel, and what I've used it for and when I moved up here was gravel. Gosh, like 6 or 7, I think it was 6, 16-ton loads of gravel dumped. This scooped it all up and spread it up and down the road. Also 2 20-yard truckloads of mulch. This spread that. So, I mean, think about it. This cost me, I think it was $3.99 on sale. And how many shovelfuls, how many wheelbarrow loads did this replace? You can probably get the equivalent of maybe 3/4 of a wheelbarrow in each scoop. So you do the math. The time saving and the back breaking saving that this thing provided makes it worthwhile. So it operates fairly simply. Now, I will say this before I go on to operation. This thing came in a box, and it was in about 500 pieces. And I'm not exaggerating. I mean, there were pieces and pieces and pieces. Now, it has a great manual that shows you how to set it up and how to operate it and how to make adjustments. But boy, this is not amateur hour when it comes to assembling this thing. I've seen a few people who have bought these, and their reviews were fairly mixed. And I'm not saying that their skills were not up to par, but I think a lot of the issues that people have with these is related to the assembly and not adjusting it properly. I've heard complaints ranging from it doesn't have enough ground clearance, that it hits the grass or hits your lawn or hits whatever objects when you're trying to move with a full load. I've got like 4 to 6 inches of clearance underneath this when it's fully loaded. And of course now, 6 to 8 up in the front here is probably more like 10 inches of clearance. So it has to do with the adjustments. You can read the book, and it talks about how you can either have more of a capacity or more clearance. I opted for a good mixture in between, and I've been very pleased with it. The other complaints were that these adjustments get out, and so when you're trying to dump, it hangs or doesn't want to latch back in. Again, there is threaded adjustments on both these levers and some other adjustments on the scoop itself, and you want to make sure that all that's set up. If you're having issues with one of these, go dig out your manual or look it up online and go through it again, because I'm telling you, I put, gosh, I'm going to say conservatively 100 to 150 hours on both an original. I had it on an LT 1000 tractor, and then I had it on a Husqvarna GT for the last 2 years. And so whether it's on a LT or a GT, it's been fine. The ground clearance has been fine. So I really think it's just maybe not operator error, just build error. So anyway, so the operation of this is fairly simple. You have 2 levers, and I'm going to move the camera up so I can sit on it, and I'll try to move the camera back so you can see everything as it goes on. Okay, and hopefully you can see me. If not, I'll just reshoot this again. But this lever here controls lowering and raising of the bucket. I lower this down, drive into my pile, scoop up material, or scrape if I'm scraping. Once I've got what I feel like is a full load, or I start losing traction with the tractor, I pull this lever up and it locks back into place. Now when it comes time to dump, this lever over here has another handle. Simply turn that and dump. And it helps if you reverse out while you're dumping, but some of the complaints I've seen again, and I don't know, I'll get the camera down close so you can see, but some of the complaints I've seen, as a matter of fact, a lot of the complaints I've seen have to do with the fact that they feel like when they dump the blade forward, it hits the ground before it has a chance to tip all the way over, and they're not able to empty the full bucket out. As you can see here, or I'll zoom in on it, I have about this much clearance, about an inch, with it fully extended forward. So it's, again, I think an installation error or a setup error, and not a problem with the actual unit, because I've had no real issues with it other than making minor adjustments as the days go on. Alright, lock it back down and you're ready to go again. So that's it. It looks awkward having these two pieces here. You would think it's kind of cumbersome to maintain. Johnny Bucket makes an electronically actuated version of this, and you know, it's like 5 times the price of this. So gosh, you know, I just don't see the need for it when you're talking about 2 levers. You know, I can scoop and I can dump. And believe me, after like the first 4 or 5 trips up and down to your pile, you are golden. Now I'm actually going to take this unit and go up to the top here, and I've been dumping chicken and rabbit manure up near the garden all year, and I need to scoop it up from the pile and spread it around the garden. And then I'm going to be using my tiller to till that into the garden soil in order to get ready for the spring. And so I'm going to give a demonstrational video of this, but let me hop back off and I'll show you some close-ups of some of the functions here, and I'll show you that clearance again, okay? Okay, so here it is again. I want to show you some of the easier functions of it, but first let me get up close here. Let me get down on the ground if I can, show you the ground clearance. I'm sorry if this is shaky cam, but I'm trying. So again, if you're having issues with yours, if you purchase one of these and you're having it rub while you're driving, either with or without a load, you need to adjust the adjustments on there, and there's several ways to do that. Look in the manual. But without a tape measure, I'm going to guess that's 6 to 8 inches on the base there, and a full 10 inches at least on the front. So again, most of the complaints I've heard had to do with it not dumping all the way. And if you have it adjusted right, that's just not accurate. So, okay, let me get up here. I'll show you how simple it is to operate. So this is the drop lever. Pull up slightly, release. Now your bucket's all the way down. Now let's come back over here, and you'll see it has a slight rake forward, so it's going to hit and dig into whatever you want to dig into. Okay. Now we're going to pull that lever back up. Okay, now I'm going to walk around to the other side and show you the dump mechanism. Hey, you'll also notice that when it's in the up position, the bucket is raked slightly back, so whatever's in it should hold in it, which stay in there, which is nice when you're carrying a large pile of mulch or whatnot. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to this side, and again, you want to pull up just slightly on the lever, click and release. Now it dumps. And take a look as well. This is all the way forward, 100% forward, and if I can get underneath it, there you go. There's at least an inch there. Okay. So again, if you're having problems where you're dumping your bucket and it's not dumping all the way forward, and you're pulling it back and still having material, gravel or whatever you're moving, stuck in the bucket, you need to make adjustments and get your height and your dump adjusted. Most people go for that maximum load capacity thinking that's really going to help them, but just because you can hold that extra weight doesn't mean that that it's the best position. Okay, here's the official model number, okay, for those of you who want to know. I'll see if I can get in on it. I don't know if it'll focus. There you go. It's a Husqvarna 5313071-68, but again, Craftsman sells it under Tractor Scoop, and I think it's AgriFab that actually makes them for both companies. Oop. That's it. We're locked back in. So that is my quick review of this. Now I'm going to do a demonstrational video if you want to watch it. But, you know, is it a front end loader? I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it could fully replace a front end loader that can lift up all the way over your tractor. But when you're talking about using a garden tractor or even a riding mower for moving material around For $399, this thing takes the place of a wheelbarrow and hundreds of hours worth of back-breaking shoveling. And it paid for itself the first day I had it. So I got to give it a huge thumbs up. Now, as opposed to purchasing this one versus purchasing the Johnny products that has the electric actuators to move, yeah, I can't speak to that. I don't have one of those. I've never tried one of those. But I will say that I don't feel any need to upgrade after owning this one for at least 6 or 7 years now. I think it's been 7 years since I bought this. So it is still available, and I recommend it. And of course, I've got ag tires and weights, which helps with traction, but on the old riding mower that I had, I didn't have either of those, and it still was extremely useful around the farm. So this is Erik, owner of Farpoint Farms. I hope you enjoyed this video review of the front end tractor scoop. And if you're thinking about purchasing one, I give it an A+. I mean, I certainly would jump on it. Okay, so if you like it and you want to see it in motion, in action, stay tuned for part 2, and we'll head up to the garden and I'll move some poop around. Take care.